everybody. It's not easy to speak after the last keynote speaker because he was really energizing all the audience. But let me start by thanking the President of the Council of Diaspora, Antonio Calçada de Sá, and all your team for this amazing event and for inviting me to be here with you. Not making a keynote speech, but actually making a reflection around the aspects of digitalization. So for all of you, let me then start by stating what probably is pretty obvious to all of you. Digital technologies, including omnipresent connectedness, are just boosting what I could call a long wave of humanity's socioeconomic evolution, and are actually radically transforming economies and societies globally at an unprecedented speed and scale. But note, the social impact of digital technologies can be understood using Schumpeter's notion of socioeconomic evolution triggered by significant technological changes that are able to affect radically the modus operandi of the society as a whole, including economic, social, cultural, and political structures, in one word, the whole society fabric. Technologies that are clearly perceived as low cost or exhibiting a descending relative cost. Technologies that are providing unlimited supply for all practical purposes. Technologies that exhibit a capacity to reduce the cost of capital, of labor, and products, as well as actually changing them qualitatively, tend to generate precisely these long waves of innovation. And also inspiration from historians reminds us that civilizations advance by extending the number of important daily actions that can be performed without thinking about them and their enablement by technology innovations. Well, let's do a small exercise. Let us look into the two last centuries. The world focused on the transformation of energy, like it had done in very early stages of our civilization, transforming material. Remember, the steel, bronze, stone ages that we learned in school. In the last 2 centuries, water, steam, electricity, and combustion power transformed our world. Trains and their pervasive networks transformed urban growth. Automotive industries transformed our own way of living. Aviation gave us global scale and fostered economic integration. And in our daily life, such advances appear to us as natural, as obvious, as almost pure commodities. Now let's focus on the last 30 years. Digital networks, computing power, sensors, smartphones, and all the business models that emerged are transforming. Now, not anymore energy, but information. Information. A transformation of information that ultimately is expected to create automated processes to convert existing information into actionable knowledge. And again, they are seamlessly used in our lives, completely assimilated as companions. And we will see in the future new long waves emerging that will tend to be shorter because of the accumulation of an ever-growing set of possibilities. AI, generative AI, robots, clean tech are just there. Ladies and gentlemen, if it is true that each technological revolution promises a new bright future and creates an initial euphoria, it is also true that it threatens the established ways of doing things at business, government, and social levels. It often may provoke even societal downsides. Within the same society, in a country, in a region, or between continents and societies at different stages of maturity and development in terms of wealth, prosperity, economy, business, government, education, culture, you name it. At every disruptive moment like this, emerges what looks like to be a new common sense, primarily driven by profit-making entities and competitive forces in the market, is exploring the early stages of the technological change, often behaving monopolistically, and also by the political and economic elites. The pace of change is, however, different between the techno-economic and the social institutional dimensions. This often creates turbulence and the dystopic fears. What is therefore our collective responsibility? And when I say our, it's really our, not our. It's our collective responsibility regarding these new long waves on the forming. Well, my initial assertion regarding how deep, how broad, how widespread, how global, and how fast digital technologies are and will transform our societies implies certainly new approaches to their global governance and the establishment of novel, like-minded global partnerships. How can the international community build a digital future that is open, free, secure, and inclusive for all? The answer resides in our adherence to human and ethical values, fostered throughout the centuries, and to the principles that created the social fabrics in which we all live. The European Union, with a significant contribution, and I would even say inspiration from Portugal, adopted the European Declaration of Digital Rights and Principles, reflecting a shared political commitment to promote and implement these principles in all areas of the digital life. These principles are shaped around 6 themes. First, putting people, their privacy, and their rights at the center of the digital transformation. Second, support solidarity and inclusion. This means leaving no one behind and promoting efforts to include the elderly, people living in rural areas, people with disabilities, people who are marginalized, vulnerable, or deprived of rights. Third, guarantee freedom of choice online, empowering, therefore, everyone to make informed decisions online, promoting also in particular the transparency and the reliability of the possibly being used algorithms. Fourth, promote participation in the digital public space, using digital technologies to stimulate democratic engagement and participation, protecting people from misinformation or information manipulation, and supporting access to digital content that reflects our cultural and linguistic diversity. 5, increase the safety, security, and the empowerment of people, committing to protect citizens against cybercrime and favoring the integrity of our online environment. And last but not least, the 6, promote the sustainability of the digital future. This means linking the digital and the ecological transitions. Dear friends, these are, in my perspective, 6 important themes in Europe and in all the continents. So the question is, how can they be translated in practice in Europe and elsewhere? Let me offer to you 4 avenues that are at the same time ambitious goals. 1, ensuring digital connectivity for all, both at local level and also including intercontinental connectivity. 2, promoting digital literacy. I repeat, digital literacy, through education, training, and digital skills, with programs fostering gender balance and promoting inclusion. 3rd, establishing a fair and equitable working conditions in a digital economy. And 4th, fostering democracy through widely available digital public services and mechanisms of transparency and accountability. Exploring these avenues cannot be done only at local or even national levels, as it would create imbalances between societies and continents. It is therefore a real global challenge and has to be tackled at all levels, at global and in particular, obviously, in the context of this forum, at European and African levels, with Portugal having the duty, I stress the duty, of playing a pivotal role at all the required levels. Well, you know, United Nations is taking an important step with the Summit of the Future, seeking multilateral solutions for a better tomorrow. It features a number of intertwined topics, amongst which the Digital Compact, that acquires its full relevance in the context of the Sustainable Development Goals, of the human rights and participation, of the effective environment governance, and the global governance innovation, are the topics to be equally addressed. The to-be-should Pact for the Future will count on the digital as a foundational element to address the broader challenges of the future. The Common Agenda report already issued gives already a very good indication of relevant topics, and again, they include digital connectivity, avoiding internet fragmentation, providing people with options as to how their data is used, applications of human rights online, and promoting a trustworthy internet by introducing accountability criteria for discrimination and misleading contents. At the European level, well, the European Union develops a very comprehensive program of international and intercontinental partnerships based on the recognition that digitalization has the potential to create enormous development opportunities, but can also increase inequalities and fuel geostrategic competition over access to technologies, data, and resources. The Global Gateway features the strengthening of the digital connectivity in a broader framework of a program that invests both in strategic infrastructure projects and digital economy packages, combining investments with country-level assistance. This means investing in digital and data infrastructure, and the infrastructures can be submarine, terrestrial, space communications, or in the case of data infrastructure, data centers, green data centers, while fostering regulation and standards for open, interoperable, and secure digital infrastructures. Let's have a zoom specifically for Africa, because the EurAfrica Global Gateway Investment Package combines, one, the EurAfrica Gateway cables connecting the European Union with the Africa along the Atlantic coast. And I would include here the Medusa for the North Africa part, and a triangular connection to Latin America via the Bella Link. Second, a set of regional fiber optical backbones across Africa, bridging the connectivity gap between coastal and landlocked countries, focusing on missing cross-border links and supporting the densification of national infrastructures. Third, the Africa-Europe Digital Innovation Bridge, promoting intercontinental cooperation. And then the focus on data as the fourth point, the data flagship to accelerate financing of green and secure data centers, support sustainable human-centric data policies, data value creation, and cross-border data flows. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, the recent meeting in June, just 1 month ago, of the African ICT and Communication Ministers echoed the importance of these efforts, and by its conclusions that are actually to be adopted by the African Union Executive Council this month, will further ignite new and very much required global partnerships. The meeting of the ICT ministers unanimously endorsed the African Digital Compact to accelerate Africa's digital transformation by unlocking the potential of the new digital technologies and use the transformative potential of digital technologies to foster sustainable development, economic growth, and societal well-being throughout Africa. But it went further. It went into proposing a continental AI strategy to provide guidance to all the African countries to harness artificial intelligence to Africa's development aspirations and the well-being of its people, while promoting ethical use, minimizing potential risks, and leveraging opportunities. If I could say this in very simple words, the strategy is proposed to be Africa-owned, people-centered, development-oriented, and inclusive, focusing on the capabilities in terms of infrastructure, talent, data sets, innovation, and partnerships, while also ensuring adequate safeguards and protection from threats. This actually matches, dear friends, the views and efforts embedded into the European AI Act and all the set of regulations around data, its privacy, the reuse aspects to facilitate user control and data value economy, around the Digital Services and Digital Markets Act to ensure compliance of big platforms with the values that we cherish commonly, and around the security and privacy frameworks. The door is therefore well open to pursue an effective multilateral cooperation. And where is Portugal in this context? Well, first, Portugal is a contributor, if not an inspirational founder, of some of these global and European initiatives I just referred to, and has always valued the digital priority, emphasizing its social impact. But in this forum, obviously, let me highlight also our long tradition of partnership with Africa. This event today, and so many others in the past, confirm this strong bond. And naturally, in the context of the CPLP, Community of Portuguese-Speaking Countries, and more specifically in the context of PALOP, Portuguese-Speaking Countries in Africa, we walk together. We learn so much from pioneering initiatives in Cape Verde or Mozambique. We cooperate so much in practice regarding digital identity, citizen cards, cybersecurity, digital entrepreneurship, telecommunication regulation, public services, and overall, we cooperate in a common digital agenda. So we, Portuguese, need to feel our responsibility to cooperate in the success of this common digital agenda between Europe and Africa. And just a last reference, in the last CPLP summit in São Tomé e Príncipe, the conclusions were very clear. The heads of state and government highlighted the relevance of the digital agenda for the CPLP, which defines the strategy for the formulation and implementation of digital initiatives by member states and called for the reinforcement of cooperation in areas of cybersecurity and data protection, and encouraged the drafting of the CPLP Charter of Rights and Principles in Digital Environments that, as you have seen, is very inspirational for all what Europe has been doing in the past. Portugal, being part of the Digital Nations, a collaborative forum of the world's leading digital governments that aims to use technology to improve citizen services in each one of its own members and globally, Portugal, because of that, has particular responsibilities. The digital ministers met in Lisbon last year in November, actually under my chairmanship, as at the time I was the Secretary of State for Digitalisation, Administration and Administrative Modernization of Portugal, to discuss the digital government agenda in line with a theme that was better data, better society, a theme that ultimately underlines all what I have been mentioning here today with you. Like in that context, I would like to reaffirm today my belief that digital infrastructures designed to use the transformative power of data in shaping our societies and driving progress across all sectors are key for our common future. And I firmly believe that using AI-empowered cloud and computing solutions in an ethical, transparent, responsible, inclusive, and equitable manner will allow us to create a better society for all. Having had governmental responsibilities in Portugal and having been a Director General in Brussels, I trust that I'm in a position to call upon all of you to be engaged actors in the process of creating digital nations and digital continents. The mind-boggling technological developments that expect us in the next few years create a once-in-a-generation opportunity to address the challenges of our common future. While AI changes our world and societies, significant challenges remain. Some already identified, related, for example, to technical aspects, for example, the quality of data, the transparency and interpretability, or some related to ethical concerns, such as the bias, the misinformation, the privacy aspects, some related to social impacts. For example, people think about job displacement or the creation of marginalized groups, and also about regulatory hurdles, how to combine regulation with innovation. Those we know. And it's precisely because of that, being aware of the current shortcomings of AI is absolutely crucial. Crucial to steer its transformative power responsibly and equitably, especially in developing countries where infrastructure gaps and economic disparities exist. Moreover, with the emergence of the generalized use of AI, we stand on the brink of an era that will not only reshape our daily life, but challenges our deepest understanding of self and existence. In a future dependent, if not dominated, by the power of generative AI, what will this mean for the humanity? There may be actually a paradox on the way we seem to trust AI these days. We boost AI to increase our control over the future, while we know that the more advanced AI has the power to make us act in the way it predicts, potentially reducing our ability to precisely choose our own future. Well, as we try to adjust to a world in which AI and IoT, robots, avatars, and clean technology emerge, forming the next long wave, we are encouraged to embrace the uncertainty of the future with the consciousness that it will always depend on our actions of today. Ladies and gentlemen, believe me, we are living an epochal change. A moment where we have to be clear about the role of technology in supporting our human aspirations, shaped by the consciousness of a generation that needs to take care of our planet for the benefit of future generations, using the digital with purpose. Thank you.